Hey everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here, and in this video I'm going to be making the vinegared red onions out of the Ball Blue Book. So let's go ahead and get into it. Do-do-do, do-do-do, vegan prepper. Do-do-do, do-do-do, vegan prepper. Okay, so I started this whole project at 5:40. It's closer to 6 now. I just got everything ready. I also just filmed a long take that I discarded, so I really kind of need to get moving on this. Hopefully I don't regret starting this late and also filming it at the same time. But one of the things that really did appeal to me about this recipe in particular is the simplicity of the ingredients. It's just 3 pounds of red onions, 4 cups of red wine vinegar, a clove of garlic, which is left whole, and like you don't even have to mince your garlic, and then optional Ball pickle crisp, which I'm not going to use because I don't have that. So basically what I need to do is get my 3 pounds of onions, which worked out to be 4 onions about this size. So you don't even need to get that much if you're like planning on buying something to make this recipe. And I just have to get those ringed up, which I'm planning to do with my mandolin. And yeah, hopefully this goes pretty quickly. The thing too, like I said, I just really love it because not only is it simple, but it's super healthy. It's just vinegar and garlic and onions, no salt, no sugar. So for those of you on super ultra, even the strictest of vegan diets, right? Like even like the Dr. Esselstyn program, the Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease program, this is perfectly acceptable as a condiment in that program. No salt, no sugar. You got your vinegar right here. You can put onto your greens and you're golden. So just really fast though, I want to mention my vinegar. I'm using the Azure Standard red wine vinegar. I got a whole gallon of it because I don't know, I might make several batches of this once we've tried it and see how it is. But basically, I want to mention this because I am an affiliate with Azure Standard. I do love them. I'll put a link down below if you would like to sign up to look at the website. It supports us. If you appreciate the content, that's one of the easiest ways that you can like help us out or give us a thank you. But the vinegar does not say the acidity level. And one of the things that's really important to know, especially for like pickling, water bath canning recipes, which is what this is. So you don't even need a pressure canner. You just need a water bath canner for this recipe. So it's just so many things about it are just like so many wins. But you have to have a vinegar that's at least 5% acidity in order to safely make this recipe. So the Azure Standard vinegars do not actually say what their acidity level is. And it's not a thing that you want to assume, even though I assume it's like every other red wine vinegar out there pretty much is 6% acidity. But I contacted the company like a couple of weeks ago, and I just got the email back today, and then I was like, yes, I'm making my recipe. They confirmed for me, because they talked to the supplier, that the red wine vinegar from Azure Standard is at least 6%. That's the minimum, and then the maximum is 6.4% acidity. So we are well within the safe range, and we can go ahead and make this recipe. So let's get started with like the actual prepping of the onions and stuff, which hopefully doesn't take too long, and then hopefully I don't mess up all this makeup I just put on for you guys. onion down. I can't even imagine how bad this would be if I didn't have the mandolin to make it faster. But that being said, I don't want this to take any longer than it needs to, so I'm getting back to it. All right, so I'm back. Onions are all cut, so that took about 2-3 minutes. Like, it was super fast. And so these are supposed to go into the vinegar, but first of all, the vinegar just came to a boil and it needs to sit and simmer for 5 minutes before I add the onion. So we have onion chopping, boiled vinegar. Let's not even discuss what's happening to my eyeballs because of all of these things going on. But now that that has to simmer for 5 minutes anyway, I'm just sort of doing some cleanup here. I washed my cutting board. It's like already back over there, my mandolin, and I'll just put a few other things away that I need to put away, and I'll come back and get that into the vinegar. Okay, so here we are, adding the onion rings into the vinegar. Oh my gosh, vinegar fumes. And now we are supposed to cover and simmer for 5 minutes. Oh my gosh. I guess it's because they know that not all of the onions are going to be touching the vinegar. It does not seem like enough vinegar. I might add a little bit more. All this crying is reminding me of a funny story, oddly enough, and I'm going to share it. Even though, I don't know, somebody might not think it fits in the video, but you know, if you were in this kitchen with me and we were doing stuff, we'd be laughing and exchanging stories while this is going on. So let's go ahead. But anyway, my son, Elliot, he is 15 now, but when he was in first grade, he got in trouble at school for making fun of a kid who was crying, calling them a baby and stuff, which is funny because I don't know honestly where he got that from. Like, we are extremely sweet and compassionate in this house, although we do tease. Like, his brother is like 5.5 years older than him, so he might have heard us teasing or something. I don't even know. But yeah, we like tease a lot, and we just have a lot of fun here. But you know, I was like, oh my gosh, all right, so we've got to deal with this and try to teach my little first grade son some compassion and some manners. So I decided, well, you know, do some role playing. And I told him, you know what, Elliot, if you have another kid who's crying, what you can do is you can ask them, so what's wrong? Or say, why are you crying? Like, you want to know what's going on with them. And I said, well, why don't we go ahead and practice? And so I started crying. I go, you know, and then he goes, like, I don't know, he like laughed, he did something, and I was like, no, wait, remember, we're supposed to be nice. Say, what's wrong? Or why are you crying? And we'll just try again. And I went, where? And he goes, why are you crying, baby? It's one of the funniest things that I can recall. So anyway, this is what that is reminding me of somehow. Anyway, he's an extremely wonderful, compassionate young man now. There's no issues with that whatsoever now, but anyway, it was just pretty funny. So here is the finished onion and vinegar simmer. I did get in and stir it a couple times just to make sure that all the onions were getting in there and getting softened and getting to be this gorgeous pink color. But now I'm supposed to discard the little garlic clove and then go ahead and get to the actual canning process. Okay, there they are, getting ready to process. Okay, so everything is processing. For me, that's gonna be a 15-minute processing time, even though the original recipe calls for only 10 minutes, but it's because of my altitude. So I feel like that's something that everyone should be aware of, that when you get processing times in the Ball Blue book, it is only for elevations of 1,000 feet above sea level or less. So if you live higher than that, you are going to need to add time to the processing of each one of the recipes. So they have a chart in the beginning of the book, so look for that just in case you didn't know that. And then how do you find your elevation? I just Googled elevation of, you know, my city on Google, I guess, and I got the answer back. And so that is how I know what my elevation is, so I know what my processing times should be. But now for about, I guess, 10-ish more minutes, as it finishes processing, I'm gonna go ahead and just start cleaning up and doing the dishes. And yeah, this is turning out to be, yeah, pretty fast and easy. Okay, so it's 7:24 and the whole process is finished. I'm sorry I did not get any shots of me like opening the canner and moving the stuff out, tightening the bands, which you normally would never do, but when you're using Tatler lids, you do need to fully tighten the bands once they're out of the canner. But if you were using standard, just like metal lids, you would not tighten. Do not tighten them. But anyway, so during the processing time of the red onions, my daughter woke up from her nap, very late nap today, super late. I'm gonna be regretting it tonight around 11:30. But she woke up, and with her like running around, I did not want to be distracting myself with filming with a giant vat of boiling water and, you know, shenanigans and a hot thing on the stove and all that. So hopefully you guys can understand. I will still give you a nice closing beauty shot of the jars once I know for sure that they finished sealing. So actually tomorrow morning will be the last take of the video. But anyway, hopefully you can forgive the fact that I was not trying to film and finishing the canning process at the same time while I'm alone with my 3-year-old. So anyway, yeah, so hopefully they turn out great. I have been snacking on the leftover, just a little bit leftover of the vinegared onions that were just in the pot. I just keep eating them. And then I was like, ooh, I'm gonna put some on some bread. So I put a giant pile of them on a little slice of bread, and I just ate it because, you know, I'm just trying to keep myself infinitely kissable, you know, for when my husband gets home. Just keeping those fires going as much as possible. But yeah, oh my gosh, even just the one straight out of the pot, not even after canning, and then like mellowing and marinating that vinegar for a couple weeks. I can't wait to taste what they taste like after that process. But yeah, overall I call this a major win. And like I said earlier, this is just such a great project for especially like the stricter of the whole foods plant-based diets, because there's seriously nothing here that wouldn't be okay with that. So it's definitely good. But all right, for real, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off, and I don't think I'm gonna say my farewell, even though I am kind of saying farewell until tomorrow. My farewell will come tomorrow. So I'll see you in the morning. Okay, so it is about 11 o'clock the next morning, and I had all sealed but one. But the one that didn't seal, which was this one, probably didn't seal because I opened it early. I opened it last night. Like, they were totally just cold, and I had a dumb moment. I don't know. I just was like eager and like impatient, and I thought, oh, maybe I could finish this sooner. You guys, I'm way more experienced in dehydrating than canning. So I undid the ring because it was totally cool, forgetting about the fact that it isn't about the coolness of the jars. It's about giving the air time to escape the jar. Duh. I just completely kind of derped on that. So I opened the jar, and then I could hear air still hissing out from underneath this one. And I was like, oh no. I let them sit for probably a good 4 hours, but that's not enough. I know that, but I just sort of, like I said, I just sort of had a dumb moment. So I just was so excited. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not as familiar with canning as dehydrating. So all of them sealed perfectly, like the ones that I left undisturbed, you know, the way that I'm supposed to. But I gotta say, I'm loving these Tatler lids. For me, I have great success with these. I don't have any issues with them. But yeah, one of the things I do really appreciate about them is the fact that when they have a failed seal, it's really obvious. There's like literally nothing holding this on now. Whereas I've had a couple of failed seals with the other type, like the rubber is on the metal lids is like almost sticky in and of itself. Like it'll sort of stick, but it'll create, you know, that false seal. And I won't really realize that it's not sealed unless I do a lot of other checks, you know, like you do the middle. Like I had one that was 100% sealed. Like I could even pick up the jar, but I just so happened to notice that the little middle part of the lid was not depressed the way that it was supposed to be. And so I was able to just kind of go just with a little bit of pressure on the side with my finger, like, and as soon as I put like the slightest amount of pressure, like even I'm putting pressure and this is not coming off, then the lid went boop, and there wasn't a hiss or anything because it wasn't sealed, and yet I could still pick up the jar and stuff. So in a lot of ways, I actually feel a little better about these, not only because they're reusable, but because there's never been an instance where I've canned with a Tatler and then if the seal failed, it's like the lid will twist when I untwist the ring. Like they're just great. So I do really love them for that reason. They make me feel a little bit more secure. But yeah, this one will just go straight to the fridge. And this was just me being dumb. All the other ones sealed. So everything was fine. And so this will go probably straight into the fridge. We'll just eat it because it's really good. I'm very pleasantly surprised at how good this recipe turned out. And I'm actually thinking about blitzing because it's got this gorgeous onion flavor. It's got that beautiful red wine vinegar. It's just delicious. And so I'm thinking about blitzing the entire jar with like a date or two in my Vitamix or something and creating a salad dressing out of it. So we're gonna see. I think it'll be amazing. But yeah, overall, very happy with that project. Turned out well. Thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully you got anything out of this. It was helpful at all, or you just enjoyed it. Really, my hope is to help, but also to provide you guys some enjoyment and entertainment, and hopefully I did that. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Let those jars sit for 16 hours at least before you open. Like, I know these things. I know them. I don't know why. I don't always follow the things that I know, but I just, this is how I learn, honestly. It's from just mistakes. So every single time you have me in a recipe video, every single time you have me tell you, make sure you do this, it's because at some point I have done the thing I wasn't supposed to do, and then I found out why you're supposed to do that. So anyway, it's just the way I go. Oh, so I think it's that ADHD, it's the impulse thing. So anyway, all right. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.